Sunday Night Football highlights: Ravens beat the Bills 35-10, and then there were three. After previously undefeated, Buffalo never led Sunday night in its primetime loss at Baltimore. Only Kansas City, Minnesota, and Seattle remain unbeaten 1 month into the NFL season. Kansas City moved to 4-0, rallying from 10 points down to beat the Chargers in Los Angeles. Minnesota, 4-0, jumped out to a 28-0 lead, then barely hung on to outlast Green Bay. Seattle, 3-0, plays Monday against the Detroit Lions. Under the primetime spotlight Sunday night, Buffalo lost 35-10 in Baltimore in a game in which the Bills, 3-1, were uncomfortable from the very first play from scrimmage, when Ravens running back Derrick Henry burst through the offensive line's right side, untouched, for an 87-yard touchdown run. The Ravens improved to 2-2 by surviving a 19-minute scoreless stretch between the second and third quarters by creating big plays with perfect timing, starting with Henry's tone-setting opening touchdown. When Buffalo cut its deficit to 21-10 early in the third quarter, Baltimore's Kyle Van Noy wasn't fooled by a trick play and forced a fumble by Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen. Baltimore scored on the ensuing drive, pushing its lead to 18, and the game was never in doubt again. Henry finished with 199 rushing yards, his second game of 100-plus yards on the ground this season after doing that just 4 times all of last year. Baltimore's running back was so close to setting NFL history. Specifically 3 feet. Henry finished with 199 rushing yards in Baltimore's win, on 24 carries. Had he gained just 1 more yard, he would have produced his 7th career 200-plus yard game on the ground and broken his tie with O.J. Simpson and Chris Johnson. Overall, Baltimore averaged 8.0 yards per carry, finishing with 271 yards between Henry, Jackson, and Justice Hill. As soon as Buffalo removed Josh Allen, Baltimore did the same with Jackson, its 2-time league MVP. Jackson finished with 156 yards passing and connected with 7 different receivers while completing 13 of his 18 passes, with 2 touchdowns. Jackson added 6 carries for 54 yards, with a lost fumble. Midway through the fourth quarter, Buffalo removed multiple starters including quarterback Josh Allen, effectively conceding its undefeated start to the season had ended. Buffalo had a sliver of an opportunity to apply pressure to Baltimore in the third quarter when it scored to trim its deficit to 21-10, but never capitalized again. Allen finishes with 16 of 29 passing for 180 yards, without a touchdown or interception. He was also sacked 3 times, and won, a 16-yard loss, backed up the Bills before a missed field goal. Allen produced what is perhaps the night's biggest highlight, a 52-yard bomb to Khalil Shacker while falling out of bounds. Yet Allen couldn't put together enough consistency to keep up with Baltimore. The big night of Baltimore's running back didn't end with his first carry. With nearly 9 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and with 196 yards on the ground so far, Henry needs just 4 more yards to cross the 200-yard threshold and break the NFL record for most career games with 200-plus yards rushing. Henry currently has 6, which ties Adrian Peterson and O.J. Simpson in the record book. On a goal line run early in the fourth quarter, Derrick Henry lost control of the ball a yard before the end zone. It squirted into the end zone, and right into a pile of Bills and Ravens. Officially, it was scored as a touchdown recovered by Baltimore fullback Patrick Ricard, who wrestled for the ball underneath a mound of bodies. And officially, the touchdown that capped a 6-play, 62-yard drive puts Buffalo's opportunity to remain undefeated on life support, with the Ravens now leading 35-10 with 11:23 to play. The Ravens needed only 3:35 to score off of Buffalo's trick play turnover. Perfect downfield blocking out of the backfield allowed Lamar Jackson to jog into the end zone from 9 yards out. More than half of Buffalo's offensive plays tonight have been passes. With rain increasingly coming down in Baltimore as the night has gone on, these aren't ideal conditions to keep passing the ball. But Buffalo really has no choice at this point, given its 18-point deficit with only 17 minutes left. Just when Buffalo was beginning to dictate the play in the second half, it tried a trick play that blew up in its face spectacularly. A wildcat snap that became a reverse to Josh Allen was blown up into a turnover when Allen's arm was hit, and he fumbled before he could throw downfield. The damage wasn't only the turnover but that Allen was leveled as he was hit. Credit to Baltimore's Kyle Van Noy for breaking up the play, creating the fumble and allowing the Ravens the chance to regain control. After Baltimore opened with touchdowns on its first 3 drives, it hasn't scored on its last 4 since. It raises the question of when Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely, 2 of Lamar Jackson's preferred targets in the passing game, will be a bigger part of the game plan. Likely has been targeted just once, a 26-yard gain. Flowers has caught 1 pass for 10 yards on 2 targets. In a play few quarterbacks not named Josh Allen could pull off, Allen heaved it 52 yards while falling out of bounds on 3rd and long to Khalil Shaker to keep Buffalo's opening drive of the second half alive, improbably. It was a truly absurd throw, one Allen's combination of footwork and arm strength created. The Ravens were forced to punt for the first time tonight after the Bills had them go 3 and out on the first drive of the second half. Buffalo now hopes to get some points to mount a comeback. Here's one indication of how one-sided this game has been at the half. The Bills have accounted for 90 yards of offense on 29 plays. Ravens running back Derrick Henry rushed for 8-7 on just 1 play. But that play, the first from scrimmage for Baltimore, has set the tone for what has followed, with Baltimore sprinting ahead and Buffalo chasing from behind. The Bills are 1 of 8 on 3rd downs, while Baltimore is 3 of 3. Baltimore has also outgained Buffalo 135-35 through the air, and 146-55 on the ground. This is the 3rd time in 4 games this season that Baltimore has led at the half. It is just 1-1 in its 2 previous instances, a loss to Las Vegas, followed by a victory at Dallas.